shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love. It's a shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love. It's a shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love. It's a shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love. It's a shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love. It's a shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love. It's a shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love. It's a shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love.
All right, howdy. Welcome back to Windley Mania, the greatest podcast you never heard of, brought to you by the greatest band that you never heard of, that band being Windley. You have to go to @Windley_band to follow us on all the socials and make sure you know what's going on in the world of Windley. I'm the best in the world, Andrew Reidner. Our guests today are the up-and-coming band from Myrtle Beach, GRIMJAW. Their music seamlessly combines slam and hardcore elements while embracing the traditions of death metal, resulting in a unique and invigorating take on the genre. The band's inception was aided by the Want to Start a Band in Myrtle Beach spreadsheet, bringing their collective vision to life. They made a powerful debut earlier this month at the Hymns of Blasphemy EP release show, leaving a lasting impression on many members of the local music community. Shortly thereafter, GRIMJAW quickly secured bookings at Arcadia Studios and even received offers to perform outside of their home state, an uncommon achievement for such a newly established band. I recorded this interview last Saturday, and I started off with probably the most compelling question of all time. Who are you guys and what do you do? So people get familiar with your voices because this is an audio format. So let's start. Let's do this way.
Okay. I'm Jake. I do guitar primarily and backup vocals, I guess.
I'm Pickles and I do vocals.
Okay.
I'm Gunner. I play drums.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. And we're missing someone.
Yeah.
Yes, our bassist Eli. Unfortunately, he got caught up with some things at work. Unfortunately, could not make it today. But hopefully, next time if you see us, he'll be here. He's awesome. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today.
Yeah.
Well, his Elder Bright's coming on this show soon, right?
Yeah, he's in Elder Bright as well.
Yeah,
I met the other fella in Elder Bright last night. I forgot his name already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they'll be coming on very soon, right? I'm excited about that.
But who cares about Elder Bright right now?
That's true.
we're talking about GRIMJAW. So you guys formed on the Myrtle Beach. They should really shorten the fucking name of it. The spreadsheet that Costin made to. It's a great idea. Long fucking name though. You need to change it. But that's how I understand you guys came together is through that spreadsheet, which is basically. You put your name on there, what kind of shit you like, what do you play, and your contact information. And you guys reach each other and start stuff. Is that what happened?
More or less. I don't know, about 3 or so months before we ended up coming together, I ended up befriending Collison, found Hymns of Blasphemy on TikTok, and started talking with him, and he got me to put all my information on the spreadsheet, which they were already on. And I'd basically been like more or less annoying the living hell out of him. I was like, hey, you know anybody who's looking for literally anyone to play guitar, bass, or whatever? I don't care. Because I had been out of playing for a minute and was just itching to get to do anything. And then about after a week or so of having my information on the spreadsheet and like looking through, I ended up seeing them. Collison actually ended up hitting me up and was like, hey, you know what? Don't even look at the spreadsheet. Just hit up this guy named Pickles. He keeps showing up to the shows. Last time I saw him, he was wearing this amazing Snuffed On Sight shirt. You know, he wants to do like this dummy slam kind of death metal thing. I think he'd really be good for it. I'm like, okay, sweet. Sounds good. And I just asked for Pickles' Instagram handle after that and just more or less like commented on one of his posts and like tagged him in. I'm like, hey man, I heard you're looking for a guitar player, just completely negating whatever the post was about and just be like, hey man, you want to play something? and then from there it just kind of formed after that. And I think the first time we got together was about a week later. We ended up meeting over at Pickles' house in his garage. And
Hot ass garage, bro.
It was so
it gets so hot in there. Oh my
Oh,
god.
my
And we were fucking jamming in there, dude. We were trying to like play some shit because I got like an electric drum set and he brought his guitar. So we were just like, all right, let's just try and throw something together. And we were just like trying. It was so fucking hot in there. It was
Nothing. You had nothing prepared beforehand.
No,
no. We were just like,
See what
let's,
happens.
let's ball.
Yeah, let's just see what happens. And we're just sitting there for like, I don't know, about 3 hours just sweating to death in his garage. Like, my guitar, him on like an electric drum set, and him just like holding a microphone, not even plugged into anything, just screaming as loud as possible. And it was a ton of fun. And we ended up hitting it off, and we're like, yeah, we should do this shit. And kind of went from there.
Actually, me and Gunnar were already kind of in a thing together when and Eli was kind of a part of that, but then he left for like work things. He was working a lot and couldn't get into shit, and we were like, okay, that's fine. And we had like this other guitar player. He's like this little 16-year-old dude, Eli, really cool dude. Another guy named Eli.
Right.
But he didn't want to be in a band. He had some personal stuff going on or something like that. And we were like, okay, that's cool. So for a while it was just like me and Gunnar just hanging out, trying to find someone. And then Jake here just like fell in our lap. And like he said, he just commented on a random post. I'm like, what the fuck? Who is this dude just commenting on a random post? All right, let's see what he has to say.
And oddly enough, that first day was such a hilarious like introduction to each other, because I'm habitually early to fucking everything. And I showed up at his house probably about like half an hour before we said we would, because I live all the way out in like Pawleys, so like driving all the way to where he lived in Conway, I was like, okay, I need to leave early because there's going to be a ton of traffic. So I get there like half an hour early, and I'm just like, oh, man, like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go down to the gas station, I'm gonna get like a drink or something, and then come back. And then he's walking down from the bus stop, and I just like hit the brakes, and I'm like, roll the window, I'm like, hey, you Pickles? And he looks at me like, yeah?
Who's asking?
I was like, Jake.
Oh, okay.
I was like, want to go jam? And he's like, sure. I was like, get in. And he just got in the car.
I was really confused. I was in like this like gray collared button-up shirt. I wore that throughout the entire like jam session too. 3 hours in that hot ass garage. I was wearing a long sleeve Mortician shirt with a gray like collared shirt over it. Because I was going to alternative school at the time, and they were like making us do that uniform shit, and I was like, fuck that. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna be edgy. I'm gonna wear Mortician shirts under my uniform. I'm gonna be cool.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of cred you can give to yourselves being like a more death metal band. A mock kidnapping, and then self torture, and something worse than a sauna. Mm-hmm. So So you guys knew each other beforehand. Was that the only like musical project you guys were doing before this? Or
I moved here from Minnesota like 2 years ago, and I tried to do a couple different bands up there since like 2017. None of them really like took off or did anything. So, but got a little bit of since like 2018. That's like 5 years experience, I guess.
Right on. What about you, Jake? Did you ever do anything before this? Or
yes and no. As far as like a full band scenario, for like a very, very brief moment in history, when I was in high school, I played guitar with this band out of Pamplico, South Carolina, called Our Final Farewell.
Where's Pamplico, South Carolina?
Pamplico, South Carolina is kind of on the outskirts of Florence.
Okay.
So it's like if you're heading towards like Johnsonville and Hemingway and all that, it's like right, you'd have to pass Pamplico to get there. And I don't even think they booked a show during the time that I was like in the band. I was in the band for like 6 months. I would show up and we would jam, hang out. Not all the time. Everyone would show up, and it just kind of did. I was just like, okay, guys, I'm done. Bye. And just because at one point they were like, I don't know. We just don't know what we're doing at the moment. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, well, I'm gonna go and do some other things. So I just like did that because I'm like, it's not like I had a lot of stock in it at that point. But after that, I played in a lot of like random one-off things with other people, whether it be just sitting in like on little blues rocks or like jazz fusion groups, sometimes bluegrass little gigs. I was just itching to play anything,
Sure.
you know, at that time in high school. So like if you let me sit in and you halfway told me how to play the songs, I would sit in and play a gig. So I did that pretty much all through high school, but this is the first more like serious band that I've ever had.
Yeah. What made you guys want to do something now though? I mean, obviously you guys all had the drive for it, but was there anything else like pushing you to like, hey, let's do a band for real this time?
Well, I really wanted to, like, I've always wanted to be in a band. Like, okay, that's something, like, every kid has wanted to be, like, they want to be a fucking rock star, right?
Sure.
But when, like, I saw, like, all these, like, shows popping up, and I was like, wait, there's actually a scene forming here. Like, all these, like, Myrtle Beach shows, and that's when I actually started going to a lot of these local shows. I hadn't been to anything else other than that. So, up until then, I was like, oh, shit. I don't have any like way to show myself to the world other than like just on the internet. But now here's like a way I can actually fucking do shit with people and make music for people in my community and actually like, you know, yeah.
Poignant. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's just my little stoner brain.
Yeah, I think for me, honestly, it's just I was so sick and tired of not playing music at the time because I had prior to getting things going with them for GRIMJAW, I had just done like 5 years of college and like didn't have time for fucking anything other than just slaving away, studying and doing other shit, and just was like, I actually have free time I can do something with now, and like I haven't been able to play music in years, and I was just like itching to do anything at that point. So it's kind of why I was annoying the hell out of Costin to try to like, hey, do you know anybody, like anyone at all? And so yeah.
Yeah. Me, I was just like, I was trying to look for shows that were like happening when I first moved here, and I wasn't really having any like success and shit. And then like the first one that I actually saw was that like Hymns one at that gym at the beginning of the year.
March, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, I'm going to that. And then I was like, oh man, it's on. And then I friended Costin on Facebook, and then saw the spreadsheet thing, and I was like, yeah. So that's how that went.
Sweet. So when you guys started playing together, like, was everyone sort of on the same page as far as like what you were trying to do stylistically, or was there any like conversations going into that?
I would say for the most part, yeah, it was pretty like everybody had the same ideas.
Yeah, like especially me and Gunnar, since we had already been together for a while, we kind of already meshed really well together. We already have similar music tastes, so it was just kind of natural for us. And then when Jake came in, it was like, okay, here's another element. And at first, I will admit, I kind of felt like things were clashing.
Yeah.
But things settled. And I feel like it's kind of given it a new sort of power, if you will.
Yeah, when coming in, even though, I love the slammy and very just jun type stuff, previously, like a lot of the stuff I was playing is like either stuff that was a bit more technical forward or stuff that was just weird and noisy. So there's a lot of times, and even now, and I annoy the hell out of them during practice, where I start just doing like random like noisy and strange stuff on the guitar, interjecting it into like the really slammy and dummy sounding riffs. Mm-hmm. And even like one of the songs which we close with now, like I remember the first time like I played the riff for Souvenirs, and they were just gonna be like, okay. And I was like, no, trust me. Like once this is together, it'll work. Let's just humor me for a little bit. And but yeah, it's after just a couple months of just playing together though, we able to really like just pick up what the other is trying to do and kind of like just run with it at that point, which I feel like has been super beneficial, especially with getting ready for that first show, because prior we had like half the set list done, and like making the other half, like there was like a collection of like riffs and ideas and sections that were completed but they weren't done yet, so we're like, oh, we need to flesh this all out and let's make this actually happen. And in the fact that we were able to kind of just mesh as far as inspiration wise together, I feel like was super, super helpful with making all that happen.
So with only half of a set done, I mean, how do you guys approach making a song? Like how do you guys make songs pretty much?
We basically just, I mean, my ideas anyways, I just try to just jam shit out and just like, okay, what sounds cool, or like, I mean, sometimes if I'm like really just like my brain's just fucking smooth as hell, I'll just like think of like a cool song and be like, okay, now how can I like not quite rip that off, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then like, sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not.
When I write lyrics and they like write song like actual music shit, I try to just like kind of throw it at the wall and just see what sticks.
What are the things you're trying to make stick though?
Like mostly just like, you know, like the syncopation of my words, you know, just like the rhythm and shit, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you do with like themes as far as like I know that's like such a like a fucking
Yeah. It's a little all over the place.
yeah. I kind of mean that in the sense of just like this genre can go fucking anywhere
Yeah.
as far as lyrical content.
A lot of the lyrics are it's like a mixture of like stuff from shit we love, like horror movies or different like things we're interested in. Like Souvenirs was basically written after I got like stoned off of some of my dad's edibles and watched Universal Soldier and Texas Chainsaw Massacre in one night. So like all the stuff from like all like, you know, the grabbing the chainsaw part or like the necklace made of ears, like it's literally just all like movies and stuff like that. Or some of it's just, you know, kind of fun tough guy shit, which is just fun to write about. And which, you know, everyone loves a good ass beating song, and it's and when you're just hanging out, you're listening to like a bunch of everything from like, you know, Cannibal Corpse to Tsunami to God's Hate and everything. It just kind of all blends together. It's like, oh, it's all about killing people and beating ass, and that's a lot of it, honestly. Although some of the stuff we're working on now or moving towards in the near future with some of the newer material, just it's kind of just whatever we're into, we just decide to make songs about it.
Cool. Are you guys all horror fans?
Yeah.
Horror movies?
I consider
This was a
myself-
conversation we had on here. I don't remember, but I lack a lot of knowledge in the horror genre. I have only really seen like a handful of the classics, so I want you guys to tell me a movie to watch real quick. So I'm gonna write it down. I'm serious, by the way.
What have you seen?
I just want to, you know, I've seen like all the big franchises.
So like Friday the 13th,
Yeah,
Nightmare.
yeah. I need some good recs. We don't have internet connection here, pal. But
Okay.
I just thought of this right now. I need people I can trust.
Are you looking for like more modern stuff? Are you looking for like classics?
You know,
or-
I don't really care. I don't care about like the release or length or anything. I like a good
one of my all-time favorites. Now it's definitely not considered like scary by today's standard, but like Stephen King's Misery is one of my favorites.
Well, I've seen Misery.
Oh, you've seen Misery?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well you've seen one of the best ever.
Okay. So I don't need to watch any horror movies
Yeah, so
anymore.
yeah,
You're
no,
good.
no, you're good. You've
You
seen
got 'em
Misery,
all.
you're solid.
Did you see Hereditary?
No,
That
let me
was-
write that.
That movie,
That's
man, that's a
good.
good
Yeah,
movie.
Hereditary,
Yeah.
The Witch is really good.
Witch is
Okay.
The Witch,
Now, I've seen Witches.
Witches. that one's yeah.
All right.
If you're looking for like really fun like zombie flicks, like Return of the Living Dead from like 1985 or whatever, is a great one. It's like a kind of like dark comedy thing. If you want to like do something fun, there's all kinds of.
You want to watch a really shitty horror movie? Thanksgiving is good.
Oh
I
God,
love Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Oh my lord.
Me personally, Hocus Pocus is my favorite horror movie.
I've seen the Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, I got 3. That sounds like a good evening right there. So I'll do that. I appreciate it. So there was clashing ideas in the beginning of the band. You had to basically, I don't know what the extent of your personal like introvert extrovert shell is, but you had to go out of your way to find people to play with. I mean, what were some of sort of the more difficult things you guys had to deal with so far as starting this new band?
Just finding people, I think, was at least my problem. Was just like
Yeah.
before I
Scheduling.
saw that spreadsheet, because that made it, I mean, dummy easy. But like before that, it was just like looking at people's Facebooks or like Instagrams and seeing if they like play anything, and then like seeing what they listen to, and then being like, damn, nope, that's not it. Next, and then just like, yeah, just being like a real Facebook weirdo.
Or getting people to actually show up to play. Like
That too.
that's a huge thing. Getting people that are more than just like, oh, they'll talk to you back and forth, and actually getting people to show up and you actually try to jam with or make a song with and see if you guys like mesh creatively, which is kind of why I was just so thrilled and over the moon with meeting them, just because even though they kind of had to tell me to chill the fuck out on all the weird shit pretty early on, which is cool. I'm someone that, like, if you don't pull the leash a little bit, like, I'll just kind of just go off and do a whole bunch of stupid shit. Once we kind of like, okay, no, this is the lane we're in, then it just kind of all just went from there, and that was really great. So I was super happy about that, because the things that I tried to do in recent years on the side is like, oh no, like you show up and one guy gets completely ripped and just doesn't do anything for the entire time that you're there, and you're left with one other dude who plays guitar, and you're just jamming for like a couple hours, and you go home, and that's just not productive or really does anything. It just, that's all it was. So yeah, that was kind of the big struggle until meeting these guys.
So how do you guys get people out to shows?
Still trying to figure it out, boss.
It's mostly just like posting on Instagram, just being like, pull the fuck up. Like, if you don't pull up, I'm gonna like fuck you, I guess.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah.
Straight up harassing people in the DMs.
Real just like peer
yeah.
pressure.
You're not my
Memes.
friend if you don't come. Memes.
Yeah, memes.
memes.
Yeah, just
Memes
making memes. As I'm sure you know, Costin loves making memes for shows and things like that. So we kind of follow suit a little bit with that, and we just make stupid posts, and or we'll post about whether it be like a new logo design or something we got going on as far as like brewing for a t-shirt that's going to be coming out, or all these different things, and we'll just make up something dumb, throw it on the internet with a funny caption, and be like, hey, be here this date, or you suck, and that kind of thing. And it's worked so far. Honestly, I think a lot of it helps that having people backing the shows like Costin and everyone from like Gorillas and all those guys with the promoters and booking agencies, like they also do a phenomenal job promoting the shows as well. So that's been a huge thing, and just from us going to all these different shows and knowing a lot of people in the scene, and them being cool with us, it's like, hey guys, come on, let's go, show up, have fun, that kind of thing. But it's more or less it at this point. Yeah.
So the debut show was September 2nd at the Next Level Gym. 8th. Yeah, that's right.
September 8th.
Can you guys describe how that night was for you guys? Was that like the first show for each of you, or?
Yeah, that was my first show like that, doing some shit like that.
Yeah.
I've played a couple of shows before. The biggest level thing I did was opening for Kubicon in some DIY spot in Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
I mean, our set, so we covered the end of Propaganda by Sepultura. It goes I don't know, it's like a little wee thing with where the rhythm guitar is doing some heavy shit, and we fucked it up and it was bad, but that was still real cool.
That's probably the biggest show I've ever done in regards to any kind of metal or heavy genre. I mean, I've played some shows at small little fest things with little blues rock and bluegrass guys, but as far as anything in this kind of scene, yeah, it was surreal. I mean, and getting to play with everyone there was so incredible. everyone kicked so much ass. Like between Hymns and Bathsheba and Reviler and Gal, I mean, all of them were so incredible.
That was really like one of my favorite shows this year. That was
real
good.
cool.
That was a good one.
I was just
love
as
that
excited to be there as I was to be playing the show.
I know. I was so nervous. Like when I finally got up there, like after the first song, I was like, "What the fuck? Why am I nervous? This shit's fun."
Yeah.
For real.
I still got like nerves. Like after the second show, I was like, but you know, like once we got through like the first song, and I was like, oh shit, wait, people are actually fucking moshing this time.
Yeah.
Like we're actually getting real movement.
Yeah.
How'd that second show go, by the way?
That was
Phenomenal.
great. Oh my god, I love that one.
Cool.
Who else played? I wasn't.
Oh my god.
Homicide.
Was Homicide,
Homicide, Omen Killer,
Yeah.
Cleansing the Temple, and The Day and Night.
The Day and I Am.
Yeah, every band's was really fucking good. Homicide blew me away. I saw them the night before with Cleansing the Temple and Brojob and Lucille in Ridgeville. Dude, both Cleansing the Temple, they're good too. They're fucking great. I love those
got
guys.
good
Shout out to them,
sample.
bro. Dude.
But yeah, that was awesome. And it was really awesome to play at a show that was so well put together sound wise, because just
DC shout out.
yeah, dude, DC's the man. And I remember him being so frustrated at the first show with the sound, because he could only push things so far because they only had one power amp for the entire setup.
Yeah.
And like when we got up on stage, he said, now you get to play on my stuff. And it's like, you can hear what I can do. And I was like, hell yeah. And it sounded so awesome. And even though we had to do it as a 3-piece because Eli was doing his first, I believe, wasn't his first show?
It was
with
Elder Bright.
Yeah, they were doing their first show up in Wilmington, which is awesome. I hate that he had to miss it, but so he did it as a 3-piece, and DC worked his magic, and it sounded awesome. And being able to see people like mosh and move around and party and have so much fun during the set, it was super, super cool to see.
There was only like 43 people there, and we got a fucking wall of death.
Yeah, we got a wall of death.
That was cool. That was fun to watch.
More like a picket fence of death, but it's okay.
I mean, yeah. Real. It was only like 10 people, not even. Like
maybe,
8.
maybe,
was cool,
yeah,
though.
something like that. But it was still just fun to see.
It was
Love
people
it.
running into each other, so it was, people were having. It was fun.
What's some things you guys have noticed about how you perform, like respectively, on between the two shows, like the difference as far you played in a fucking gym, which I know like I've never played in that gym, but I can already imagine that's very difficult just because of the echo.
We couldn't. I couldn't hear them fucking at all, bro.
Yeah.
Like at the second show, it sounded better because I could hear them, and like I don't think I was playing it as fast as the first show, because the first show everything was like
Yeah, it was a little bit ahead.
1.5 speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And second show I think sounded better. Like
Yeah, being able to hear each other on stage, believe it or not, great thing to have. The first show, because some of the constraints on the sound, and we didn't have stage monitors, so everybody at the show was kind of just like, fuck it, flying blind and just going with it. And throughout the set, I was like, I could hear myself like pretty much only, and then I heard Eli next to me a little bit. I heard his hi-hat, and when I stopped playing, I could hear him a little bit. And versus like the second show where we just had this gorgeous mix. We had stage monitors. I could hear everyone perfectly. I could hear where all the cues were and everything. It was so much fun. The first show, like until we like went back and looked at the footage of us playing, from someone's perspective outside of being up there, we're like, I don't know how that went. It was okay. It was okay. And they were like, okay, it came out fairly decent for not being able to hear each other. But that second show was awesome. It just kind of came together, especially with it being short notice. I was really impressed with how well we were able to pull it off, because I was just like, oh, we're doing a show in 3 days. Cool. Whoa, let's go.
right, yeah.
I was standing during the gym show. I was standing basically stage left on your side, with the aid of earplugs. I couldn't hear you at all. I could hear some of it, but I could hear everything else. But I was like, man, I could not imagine I mean, that'd be cool if we played a show in the gym. But man, God,
Oh, you're talking about over at Next Level? You're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
and then I only played at Arcadia once with Spite Baby, and that was a little tough just because the size of the stage, and
Yeah.
I'm playing with Corey and Devin, who are the two of the loudest motherfuckers to play in a band with, but you know.
Yeah, honestly, I think us being a 3-piece playing at Arcadia that night, like actually worked in our favor because
Sure.
he actually had a little bit more leg room.
Yeah, more to mess with.
Yeah, as much as I missed Eli being there, I was like, oh, honestly, it's like, you know, it's nice to be able to move around. That's great.
Right.
So has there been anything? Well, I guess before I ask the question, it's this whole past year has been really, I think at least for me, and in my opinion, I guess the Myrtle Beach music scene, it's been a really great year. You guys agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
God, I haven't seen this much like happen in honestly even really just in South Carolina since I was like in like early high school. Because for some reason it seemed like the scene locally at least seemed to like die down quite a lot, like between like 2005 to 2001-ish. And then it's like lockdown opened and it exploded. Like everyone was like locked inside their houses and apartments and whatnot, and just like, oh, well, now we're gonna do all this music now all at once, everyone releasing everything, shows everywhere, you know, whether it be generator shows, actual venues or whatever. Like I'm just seeing stuff everywhere all across the state, and that's kind of a beautiful thing to see, because like I was really sad to see like there that time period where it didn't seem like there was a ton of stuff going on for very many local bands comparatively to how it is now. Like you would have local shows, but I didn't really see as much of a push as I do now, which seems awesome, and I'm so excited to see that.
Has there been any like instances or maybe even conversations you guys have had with anyone in the local community that's kind of influenced you in any way?
I mean, talking to Costin is always cool because he's just like always like super hyped on like doing
Yeah.
shows and shit, I guess.
Yeah.
I follow my own path.
As far as local bands, I'm really big fan of, granted we really only have one song that kind of leans towards the grind side of things, but I really love this band out of upstate South Carolina called Slug Crust.
Oh,
They're super amazing, and it seems like every time they come anywhere near here, like I can't get off work. It sucks so bad. I wanted to see them with, I think they played with like Escuela Grind and Brat over in Columbia like a month or two ago or something like that, and I didn't get to see that, and I was so upset. But like super big into them, and just like their just aggression and noisiness, I was always a super big fan of. Brass Tongue and Reviler, I'm a big fan of them. Both of them are just insane. It's
Real nice dudes too.
Yeah. Oh my god, the guys in Reviler are like the sweetest dudes ever. They were incredible.
Yeah. You named a lot of metal and hardcore leaning bands. How are you guys going to try to like carve out an identity for yourselves for this band?
That's a great question.
One thing that we kind of are trying to do is, which we always think is really cool to see, like when you have like these hardcore bands or hardcore adjacent bands that really rep where they're from super hard, whether it be like, you know, New York or Philadelphia or Los Angeles, Detroit, or, you know, Dallas, Houston, whatever, or Atlanta. You don't have a whole bunch of bands that do that from around here, and we always thought it'd be kind of funny to have this identity of leaning into the very Myrtle Beachness of the area and the kind of like pseudo trashy redneck Riviera type thing, and just kind of be very just almost like, not necessarily like obnoxious like with our sound sonically, but just embrace kind of the local, like, yeah. Like,
is there any like examples that stick out in your mind that you kind of want to like pull from?
Body Box.
Yeah, Body Box.
As far as like things that go on in Myrtle Beach.
We have a song that we're currently in the process of writing that kind of talks about all the nonsense that goes on in Myrtle Beach, and we have like a bunch of stuff that we're in the process of working on that kind of like jokes on like the pseudo like white trashiness of the area, and just kind of riffs on it and kind of embraces it. Love that, you know, almost Joe Dirt-esque type vibe of how this area is, and thought it'd be funny to have like a band that embraces it just like how people embrace like the New York hardcore scene or the stuff out in LA, you know. Just thought it'd be kind of cool to have something like that for here, just because there's not, you know, anyone who really like really goes out of their way to rep this kind of an area like that. We thought it'd be kind of funny to do that.
Cool.
Murder Beach through and through.
Sorry?
Murder Beach through and through.
Murder Beach. Let's see. I had a lot of detailed questions, but how about some basic ass questions?
Whatever you want.
GRIMJAW, where'd that come from?
That's Jake.
Okay.
So
100%.
we started off calling ourselves BOMB, which is an acronym for Back on My Bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Which we thought was really funny and cheeky, and kind of like went with the like dummy slam type vibe that we were going for. Which does, it's a fun name, but like after, I don't know, about 3 weeks or so of like doing that, the kind of the conversation of like, hey, I like the name, but it's a little bit on the childish side. Like, do we really want to go with this one? And I had been sitting on the name GRIMJAW for a little bit, because oddly enough, these stories revolve around me getting edibles for my father. Anyway, old military vet, he's bored and has nothing else to do with his time but make edibles and hang out and watch kung fu movies. But anyway, so he'd given me these edibles because he made a new batch, and I went home and I was watching Bleach, and there's a character called GRIMJAW, and I had the subtitles on and whatnot, and I'm just like buzzing with the frequencies of the universe, and like I misread the subtitle GRIMJAW as GRIMJAW, and I was like, oh man, that's such a cool fucking name. And he has like this bone mandible piece on his jaw too, so like it fit in my head. I'm like, oh, that's perfect name, couldn't fit, you know, had something better. And then like I sobered up and like was watching more episodes the next morning. I'm like, why the fuck are they saying his name wrong? Like why what the hell, they're saying his name wrong, this is bullshit, what the hell, his name's GRIMJAW, right? And like after a very quick Google search, of course it was me who was wrong and not the well-established and beloved anime that everyone knows and loves. It was me that was wrong. But I was like, you know what, GRIMJAW is a really cool fucking name. I'm going to sit on that and try to do something with that if I ever get something going. So that was my golden opportunity to be like, hey guys, what about this? and they really fucked with it, and I was like, yes, cool.
Are you glad
awesome
that like 30 other bands called GRIMJAW didn't pop up when you did it?
I honestly, before I even asked them, that was the first thing I did, was just like there was like one random like EDM type thing from like mid 2000s that just like disbanded at this point that had something called GRIMJAW, but I didn't see anything active, so I was like, hey guys, what about this? Because, you know, after not finding out that this wasn't like actively being used, I'm like, okay, let's see what this does. Let's see if they like it. Okay, let's go. So and it kind of took off, and and then I was doing that and like just messing around with like trying to do a logo, and he was drawing stuff and I was just doodling and trying to come up with anything. And it kind of like meshed something he drew with something I drew together and sent it off to this guy, which is Moribund Art on Instagram. Dude is the shit.
Shout out that guy.
He was able to
good, bro.
do our logo, and I couldn't be happier with how that turned out, because that turned out fucking amazing. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Very, very excited to be putting merch out soon for that. That's gonna look so sick.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of the designs on the Instagram. It's pretty sweet.
Thank you.
What is there's someone like stabbing someone in a SWAT uniform?
Yeah, it's like this gooned out like ski mask guy, and he's like bayoneting and simultaneously shooting this SWAT dude, and I kind of just like gave Moribund this general idea and said, hey man, just whatever you feel cool, works with this, just roll with it. I trust you. And he just came up with that, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, that's insane. That's so crazy. So yeah, we're all super excited about that. That came out way better than even our expectations were set, and they were set pretty high.
Hey, Gunner. It's okay, man. I had an observation while you guys were playing at the gym, and I noticed I was watching you. You are very, very relaxed when you play, and you're playing a lot of. There's some blast beats thrown in, if I'm not mistaken, and a lot of crazy shit. How did that style develop for you? Did you always just play that relaxed? And I mean, it looked like your heart rate was like literally 1 BPM. Like
I'll tell you my secret, Captain. I'm always stoned. No. Yeah, I usually, like, the first 2 shows I ever played a couple years ago, I was like super nervous, so I would have a beer beforehand, and then I would stop drinking because it's lame for me, I guess. And then I just started smoking weed instead, which is worked out way better, especially before shows, because it makes my muscles looser, and I don't know, it helps me play somehow. It's helps me clear my mind and try not to focus on fucking up, And I guess that would be my secret, because I usually look pretty fucking tensed up when I'm playing shows. In other times past, I've been super hunched over and everything, and just trying my best. But and I was kind of having trouble with those blast beats too. So that's pretty cool that you said that I look relaxed.
You looked relaxed, and I guess is that Occam's razor the most obvious answer is usually the correct one.
Yeah,
yeah. So I probably should have went with that.
It's pretty on the nose.
But I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to just assume that for the rest of my life.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So thanks for confirming. Pickles, I think this is going to be the most obvious question of the evening. Pickles.
Yeah,
man.
The name.
Yeah.
So in high school, I had a pair of bright pink. They would go all the way up here, bright pink fucking pickle socks.
Yeah.
And they just had little pickles, just little pickles spread all over them. And there was this girl who was in a shit ton of my classes, an ungodly amount of my classes, and she was like, you know what? I like your socks. I'm gonna call you Pickles. And I was like, okay. Right. But since she was in so many of my classes, so many other people started hearing her call me Pickles, and it was just a web effect of people started calling me Pickles and people hearing them call me Pickles, and then it just kind of got thrown on me. So now I'm Pickles for the rest of my life.
And it's also helpful because me and him have the same name, so it keeps things a little bit simplified.
Yeah.
Because if we were just screaming back and forth, hey Jake, in practice, it would get really confusing really quick.
Are you glad you didn't wear socks with a poop emoji or something on it?
I'm so fucking happy that didn't happen. So in high school I did have a couple of different goofy socks. That was kind of my thing. I was the goofy sock guy, right?
Yeah.
And but there was I remember I had this one pair, it just had eggplants on it. It was the same thing, except it was purple and it had eggplants on it. And a teacher said, instead of calling you Pickles, I'm going to start calling you Dicks. And I was like, you know what? That's just an escape. Get me out of here, bro. I've been called Pickles way too long. But, I've accepted it now.
Yeah,
it's a part of me.
That's good.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten more Metalocalypse memes.
I know, right?
Yeah, it seems like the most
Yeah, oddly enough, I think
Pickles.
I've seen someone make that joke once.
Yeah. Maybe it's just one of those things where it's too obvious.
Yeah, no one wants to make that just slow hanging fruit,
Yeah. So what's some long-term goals for GRIMJAW? What's next?
Get music out.
Releasing an EP.
Do you guys ever record it? Or
it's
trying to.
It's in the works at the moment. We're currently in the works on recording our first single.
Where are you doing that at?
Well, we were doing it we're in the works of doing it with Tom Connolly, who is actually technically our other guitar player, but there's been some slight misfortunes leading up to the first show and recently. But leading up to this,
is he okay?
Leading up to the first show, he got in a motorcycle accident and broke his collarbone.
Oh wow! Jeez.
And he had to have surgery and a plate put in. So that sucks. So he was there at the show, but he wasn't able to play. and he's currently up in Jersey, just handling some personal family things, and just getting some stuff sorted for that. So unfortunately, it's kind of put a little bit of a halt on the recording process. So we're probably going to. We've been talking about possibly reaching out to DC for tracking, and then send it up to Tom for mixing and mastering, since he still has like his computer and stuff up there to do things like that. So probably just gonna track it probably with DC or someone here locally, and then send it up to him for mixing and mastering before we release it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Is there like I don't want to put you on the spot, is there a time frame?
Not at the moment. Right now we're kind of just at the moment, just booking shows and getting merch out, and just kind of just developing, some sort of a fan base. Right now, we're just trying to get our stuff out there at the moment. We're probably going to be releasing like teasers and like a single here and there leading up to the drop of the EP. We don't really have any hard dates on anything at the moment. I don't want to sound completely unorganized, but we've kind of been flying by the seat of our pants, like just full speed ahead the entire time since our inception. And things have just been moving so quickly, moving forward, doing things. So unfortunately, I don't really have a hard time frame on that at the moment.
That's all right. So you guys are playing in Augusta, Georgia? Mm-hmm. How'd that come together?
Tristan from Fleshgate.
Okay.
He if you haven't listened to the new Fleshgate EP,
yeah, for real, Fleshgate.
For the love of God, go listen to it. It's
so
absolutely,
good.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking amazing. I probably just listen to that at least like 3 to 5 times a week since it got dropped. It's just so good. But no, we met up with him and some of the dudes in Rectoplasm over at the Sanguisugabog show they recently had over at New Brooklyn last month.
Yeah, like a month ago.
Last month.
Something like that.
Hit it off with them, been just shooting the shit back and forth ever since then. And he's like, hey, we're trying to put this, show together in Augusta in December. And, just want to see if you guys wanted to be on it. Trying to get, all these other guys together. So kind of just being kind of friends with the people that are trying to put on the show. And they're like, hey, you guys want to come? And we're like, fuck it, sure.
Sweet.
Like, we'll go to Georgia.
Right.
And when's that show?
It's
December 9th.
December 9th, Augusta, Georgia, the venue.
It's a house show.
A house show, nice.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing again?
It's Fleshgate. Isn't Pressure Falls on that?
Yeah, it's us, Fleshgate, Pressure Falls, and Rectoplasm as of now. I don't know if they're going to add a fifth band. I don't know if they're adding a fifth band or not at the moment. But right now, it's it's Fleshgate, us, Pressure Falls, and Rectoplasm.
Yeah. You got any other shows right now, locally?
Some stuff in the works.
Some stuff in the works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff in the works. They're still trying to figure out filling out the bill and like a hard date on it. We have an idea, but we just it hasn't fully been announced yet, so we don't want to like go and say, hey, we're doing it this day, and then things change. But seemingly though, it's all in December.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of
So December is going to be the big month.
December is the big month for us
GRIMJAW.
coming up so far.
Very sweet.
So like
Still open to doing something in October or November.
Yes,
Hit us
absolutely
up.
want to do anything in October or November.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
everything's like seeming like first week of December seems to be our week. Like I don't know why.
I don't know what it is.
Sweet. Well, man, do you guys have anything else intelligent to say?
Not intelligent. I got my first tattoo today.
Oh yeah, what's that? What's that?
I got a little ghost dude. He's holding up
This
a
is an audio
sign to.
format, but
What was that?
it's an audio format, but it's okay. We
Yeah,
maybe
I know. I'm
post a
sure.
picture.
Yeah.
But describe it anyways.
Yeah,
What
it's
is
a
it?
little ghost dude. He's a guy. I drew him myself actually.
Oh, okay.
And he's holding up a sign to show off to the world. It's the sign says "Stay silly," because I want everyone everyone needs to keep that inner child and stay a little silly.
Yeah.
The tattoo is not wrapped. He is rocking it.
And you got it. You got
raw.
it today, and you're I don't know much about tattoos, but I usually see people with the the saran wrap gimmick.
Well, I got that little.
You got the second skin thing on.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what
Yeah.
the
I was
hell?
about to say, is he
dude?
just kind of rocking?
Yeah, no, I'm not just here raw dogging that shit. No, I come protected.
Right on. Well, thanks for coming out here on a Saturday evening. at GRIMJAW _SC. Is that the only handle for this? The Instagram.
Yep, at the moment, yeah.
And,
All lowercase.
and December is going to be a big month, but we still want shows in October and November.
Yes,
Music
yes,
coming out.
Absolutely.
Do you guys mind if I do my bullshit real quick?
Go
To
for
wrap
it.
Do your
this up?
bullshit, man.
Oh God, where's my phone? All right. So, GRIMJAW. That's just one of the great bands you could see featured on some Myrtle Beach shows stuff. And you got to go to at Myrtle Beach shows to watch shows in Myrtle Beach, or at least be informed about them. Devin sent me a flyer. There's not much on this flyer, but we can go through it real quick. November 18th is a show at Fresh Brewed with Christian Gill, Bubba Graham, and Frank the Frog, and many more at Fresh Brew Coffee House, November 18th. November 19th at the Next Level Fitness Gym. Restless Spirit, Hymns of Blasphemy, Bathsheba, and TBA. Everyone loves a good TBA at the Next Level Fitness Gym. $10 in advance and $15 at the door. I believe that's going to be a benefit show. I'm not sure what the benefit is, but hopefully it's not like a bad benefit.
Hopefully it's very beneficial.
Yeah, hopefully it benefits someone. Then November 26th at Arcadia Studios, Rat Poison, Intimidator, Quiet, Warning Order, Dead Friends at Arcadia Studios. November 26th. So I forgot how to do these, by the way.
It's all
So
right.
I'm still trying to remember.
Shout out Intimidator.
Yeah.
Trav's the man.
Real.
And Hymns of Blasphemy, by the way, if you follow at Hymns O Blasphemy, our sister band, you can. They're playing about. Well, I'm going to be there too because I'm going to be filling in on a guitar. But October 7th, 8th, and 9th in Ridgeville, Greenville, and Florence at a house show. I'm excited to do that. And also, I want to thank Costin Sutton for being my supplementary research guy for this and a couple other episodes. So, thank you, Costin. GRIMJAW, again, thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having
Very
us.
informative. Had fun learning about this band of yours. But at GRIMJAW _SC. For more Windley crap, you got to follow at Windley _band and on all the socials. And that is all. I think. Yep, it is. All right. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.